Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and this is Who's That Creator, where I showcase a creator big or small so that you don't miss out on really amazing Magic the Gathering content, and you get to find out a little bit about the person behind the content. And for those of you on Twitch, remember that in chat you can feel free to ask your own questions. I will filter them into my ready-made questions and stuff as we go out through the interview. So I am very happy to be joined by Katie Karlov, very awesome Magic the Gathering community member and creator, has done a lot of awesome stuff, has joined me on charity streams, which I'm appreciative of. Katie, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we'll start out with the low-hanging fruit that I always do, that you are probably, every creator is sick of hearing. Please tell everybody who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm Katie Karlov. I'm a primarily Commander streamer. I've lately been just kind of doing some TikToks here and there while my schedule is hectic. But you can find me at Katie Karlov everywhere, including on TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, and I was previously I'm still am the co-founder of Birds of Paradise, but I was previously the vice president of Birds of Paradise as well. And we have handed that off to Command Zoe and to Jane. Very excited to see them kind of take over and take on the next generation of Bop.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Awesome. So I put your link tree in the chat there for anybody. So please go follow Katie on all of the socials. So is there a story behind the name Katie Karlov and why you chose that?
yeah, sort of. So when I first started playing, one of my favorite commanders was Kalia of the Vast, and so I started. My original username was Katie of the Vast, and then I quickly found Tori of the Vast
Mm-hmm.
in the community and went, okay, can't go that route. What else can I do? And I was trying to think of like characters that kind of played with my name a little bit, and so we landed on Katie Karlov because it's kind of snappy, um and I also did have a Teysa Karlov deck, so it worked out great, and people still think it is my real name.
I mean, in this day and age, that's probably not a bad thing. So go with it. So what prompted you to get into Magic the Gathering content creation, and how long have you? Well, you already said how long you've been doing it, but like, what prompted you to start doing it and for real as content?
So I previously, like in 2014, was doing video game streaming actually. So I was playing video games. I was a big part of the community of video game streamers. Not a huge part, but a teeny little. I had my little nook.
Right.
And I lived in SoCal, so I got to go to all the SoCal video game events, which included E3 and things like that. And so I would go to those, and I got to kind of meet a lot of people in the community, including a lot of people at IGN and stuff like that. And then video game streaming is really hard for women. And it was at a time that like there wasn't as like I don't know, it just wasn't as friendly as it's friendlier now, but I would
Right.
say there's still a lot of work to be done.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I just was really struggling. I wasn't kind of doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't feeling like I wanted to do it anymore, and so I kind of stopped doing it, and then I started getting more into Magic. I had already been playing Magic at the time, but then I was kind of like COVID happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into something else. I'm gonna pull all my Magic cards out of my deck and or out of my box and like put my deck together and all that stuff. And then I started watching Magic content, like not just game nights, and like a lot of the other big channels. I also started watching like TikToks and
Mm-hmm.
like people posting little videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and people playing on YouTube. And I was like, I think I can do this. I feel like it would be a good way to get to meet more people that are also playing Magic the Gathering. And I just decided to kind of start. I started with a Twitter account. I was like, okay, I'm gonna meet people on Twitter
Right.
first, and that was how I met Bobby Christine. And her and I are like best friends.
Hmm.
So we just played. I got invited on a stream for the first time, and then I just was like, okay, I'm gonna start my own thing. I'm gonna play arena. And then I started to get to know more people, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a commander stream
Hmm.
now, and that was 4 years ago. So
Nice. And the what helps too, I think, was that transition is because Arena is technically a video game, so you still
right,
kind of you're still doing that in the beginning to like get into it, and then transition to the commander streams and stuff.
yeah, totally.
So everyone knows that, and especially nowadays, burnout is a very real thing. So like, what motivates you to keep making content?
I'm definitely more of a prolific creator when I'm engaged with the sets that are coming out.
Hmm.
And I don't just mean like, oh, Wizards sent me something or I'm going to an event. I like truly it has to be like in my heart. Like I have to care
Right.
about the set, unfortunately.
Sure.
I can't separate and I don't have really the money or the time to invest in a set that doesn't excite me
Hmm.
and make me want to play it. So, so I make the most content when I'm excited about a set. And when I want to play the set and I want to talk about it and I want to see what other people are doing. So really like I say that because right now I haven't been making a lot of content. The
Hmm.
content I've been making has been sparse and mostly like, oh look, I got this and like I wanted to try it out and let's look at it. Um but I haven't been making like my normal kind of stuff that I would normally make for a set.
Hmm.
So honestly, I think like staying motivated is more about for me as long as I'm having a good time and I'm not like killing myself over making content or not being inspired, then it's fine. I'm and I think that's like a boundary that I set for myself that um is not as like easy for other people to do because there's like more at stake for them to continue making content or they really care about it and they want to continue and have that kind of steady flow of content. For me, it was more of just kind of like, as long as I'm having a good time, I'm here.
Hmm.
So
But
yeah.
I mean, that's a healthy balance because that helps. I mean, that's alleviates the potential for burnout because you're not constantly
Hmm.
making content for every little thing that drops. Oh, new card spoiled. I got to be one of the first ones to promote it. I totally understand.
Right.
Not even trying. Like, I don't even bother with that stuff. Like, I'm like, I would be lost in a sea of everybody else doing it, and I'm not as well versed to be like, oh, this card that just got spoiled goes infinite with a card from Ice Age. Like, I don't freaking know. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So that makes sense, and it works for you because it's not, like you said, it's not you're not dependent on it. So you have that luxury, and that's a great way to do it.
Hmm.
What do you feel makes your content stand out? Because there is a saturation level right now, especially, and has been for a while, but of content creators doing Commander, especially, and having streams on TikTok for Commander. So,
Yeah. So in terms of like my commander streams, the main thing that I just did recently, like a month or so ago, a tabletop talks. So if you don't know what that is, it's like a channel for streamers to kind of engage with each other and like basically give a TED talk about how they do their content and like what others could learn from them.
hmm.
And so I did one about how I book streams. So like I think it's really critical to my content as a commander streamer because I'm very like meticulous and um very thoughtful about who I'm bringing together. I don't just invite three random people. I'm like thinking about who would vibe with this person. What do I know about them? Or putting in two people that I know really well and then one person that I don't know really well, but I know that like even if that person's not really vibing with the group that the energy will stay alive because of everybody else in the pod.
Right. Okay.
So I do things like that to make sure that like when people are engaged with my stream, they're gonna see a fun game of people that are like all having a good time, laughing, like understanding what everybody's doing. That's something that sometimes gets washed away during
Hmm.
Magic. And also, make sure that everybody's friendly. Nobody's feeling left out. Nobody's feeling downplayed or targeted in a way that is like unfun.
Hmm.
Um, and nobody's really monopolizing the game. And I think that all comes with me like kind of curating my pods a little bit more.
Sure. That's definitely something that you don't see very often in like that level of decision making and cultivating, like you just said. A lot of times it's kind of like you're just trying to fill the spots as best you can. So, to
Hmm.
go that extra mile is definitely going to come through in the games themselves. Uh,
Yeah.
what piece of content are you most proud of and why? Is there a specific game, a specific, maybe a short thing you did or whatever?
Um, I think every time I get to do a preview card, I get to kind of be more creative with that than I normally would be. I feel like um making little short videos to preview a card is like I try to like I mean, I don't go all out. Some creators are like really knocking it out of the park and I'm just making a bunch of funny things that I think would make me laugh.
Right.
But I do like doing it. Like I did my Duskmorn one. I like did it in my shower and like had a flashlight on me while I was recording and like pretending like I was haunted. Like those were fun. I did one for Edge of Eternities that was fun where I got to um I did like a little like kind of like an ad. Like it was like, oh, do you want to eat this? Because I got nutrient block,
Mm,
which is food, a
right.
food artifact. And I was like, "Oh, what we wait it's got to be like a marketing ad to like buy this food." Um so that was like my idea for that one. So I those are kind of fun. They like challenge me a little bit to like write a script and like record it the way I want it and kind of and also edit it. I mean, a lot of editing involved. Like commander streams are easy because you just post it. Like you take the video, you
Hmm.
post it.
Yeah.
Um for the most part. So those ones are fun. They kind of challenge me a little bit.
Yeah, that's those kind of things are always fun to see, especially the what people do with the preview cards. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier about Birds of Paradise. So for those that are uninitiated, just can you give it like a quick overview of what Birds of Paradise is about, like why it was founded and stuff, and what are some of the things that you envisioned for it, you and Bobby Christine, when you made it, created it.
So we created it back in 2022. The idea came about because a big group of us were all planning to meet for the first time in person. And we thought, where should we meet? And three of us lived in the Seattle area. And so we were like, well, we should go to Command Fest Seattle, which was Bellevue actually. And so we were like, okay, we'll plan it and then we'll go. Like, how, should we like go as a group? Like, how do we get a booth? Like, we were kind of just like really spitballing of like, how do we make a safe space for other women in the community? There's such a big group of us meeting up here. Like, there was like 9 of us. And
Hmm.
like, I was like, I feel like there's space for us to make this a little more official. And so we kind of were bouncing back and forth of like, should we just do we're just a little collective? Is this bigger than us? Kind of going through all of that. And then we were trying to come up with a name. That was like the biggest part of
Always.
it.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, we call it like, I think she EDH was thrown out there. That was kind of already
Hmm.
a thing, I want to say. And like, there was a bunch of different options. And then I was like, Birds of Paradise is kind of perfect because
Hmm.
it's giving you the fuzzies of this is a beautiful place and it's wonderful and it's perfect. And also birds, like which is like slang for women, like,
Right. British slang. Yeah.
and yeah, so I was like, this is like kind of the perfect name. And then from there it was like, okay, we're gonna make little tokens. We're gonna be a charity group and we're gonna raise money for Trans Lifeline. That was the one that we picked
Hmm.
for our first one. And then we just reached out to the people who were hosting Bellevue, Command Fest Bellevue, and said, hey, we're this group. We want to kind of do this thing and raise money for charity. Can we have like an hour to like host an event for free or like whatever? And then everything kind of just happened. Like they said, yes, we got a 2-hour window to host a Jumpstart event. My LGS donated Jumpstart boxes and some other stuff for us to play with and donate out. So yeah, it just like was like it all came together and it was just really beautiful and we just went from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I'm always interested at how people answer this one. So, like, is there a part of your personality that you feel truly shines through with your content?
um my chaotic energy probably.
Hmm.
I'm not really like a big astrology person, but I've been told that the reason that I have the humor that I do and the sense of bubbliness is because I'm a Scorpio rising. I don't know what it means.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but I just I think that like when I work a corporate job. I work for a Fortune 500 company. I'm in middle management. I'm a mom. I kind of have to put on a lot of different hats in
Hmm.
my life, and I don't ever water myself down. I'm always myself in some form. But doing content, I don't know, I feel like in the magic space I get to kind of like be my type A where I'm
Mm.
like everything has to match and it's meticulous and it's put together and I know my deck list and I have all the cards and like I know where they go. And then also like play styles, like I like solving little puzzles and stuff and like moving through actions and like uh you know, shiny cardboard.
Yes.
And
Definitely shiny cardboard.
then I also like I'm very competitive. I mean, I like I don't like competing,
Hmm.
but I am very competitive,
Hmm.
and so getting to kind of compete with people and try to win a game against 4 people is fun. And um, yeah, I would say just like I get to be more crazy and silly and ridiculous when I'm playing Magic than other factors of my life.
Right.
Um, so I would say that's probably in terms of like personality traits that's coming out the most when I'm playing Magic or doing content. That's probably it. It's just being my silliest self.
That seems fair. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you have any kind of office job or any really even just any job, you have to rein it in. Like, you don't have to be someone else, but you can't always let yourself be as crazy or as silly or whatever as you want. You have to rope it in.
Mhm.
So content creation allows you to just sort of go nuts with it and be this portion of your personality. I understand that.
Yeah.
Has content creation, like, and this can go back to your video game times as well, has it helped to strengthen any weaknesses you may have had, or did it like show you like strengthen a weakness like, oh, you were shy or you didn't like public speaking or you weren't that great at improv, something like those lines, where now you're more confident in those areas?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very shy person. I'm also very like I'm very open book too, so like I'll tell people all kinds of stuff all the time. Stuff that they probably don't want to know about me. But I'm very like open to people when they ask me questions. I try to always be super honest. I think the thing that I often struggle with is like my own confidence. Like I'm not shy. I will be very open and like I'm very brave, but is still there's like a difference between that and like being really confident in yourself.
Hmm.
And I think that doing content has made me definitely feel more confident because I'm kind of forcing myself to put myself out there in a way that I'm like, oh, somebody could make fun of me over this.
Mm.
Or maybe I'm being cringe or I said something stupid or anything like that. And I feel like I've just kind of learned to give up on that a little bit more and
Hmm.
like just kind of be like, people make mistakes. Sometimes people think that Spain is in South America, like me. um, so it's like
Do
you
they? No,
don't.
just kidding.
Maybe I'm the only one, but that's okay. Um, So yeah, I feel like I'm more and more loosening up. I think the thing that I still struggle with in that front is I don't ever want to offend anybody.
Hmm.
I don't want to say something that is like coming from my point of view, but maybe is not seeing the full picture. Um, and so in that way, I do sometimes still quiet myself because I'm like, well, I don't want to say anything out of turn that like I feel strongly about, but maybe is not the right point of view and maybe is lacking some of the pieces. And so I think, like, especially when there's discourse going on, I definitely have feelings about the discourse. Do I feel confident enough to put my 2 cents out there? No. Do I also feel like I need to? No. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, for sure. I get that. Because, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's just one of those things where, if you don't have a strong opinion or a horse in the race, it's kind of like, well, maybe I'll just let this one go. let, let
I try not to get involved with stuff that has nothing to do with me. I know that wasn't the question you asked me, but
No, it
it kind
was.
of leads to
Yeah, you
like a
went through.
confidence. I'm not overly confident in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any like hell yeah moments from being a creator where something happened and it could be like, we discussed the preview cards and stuff, but was there anything like being recognized by someone you felt was bigger than you or whatever, and or anything that made you just go, holy, I'm here. I'm part of this community. Yes.
I have two actually that
Oh
I want to
yeah,
bring
go
up.
ahead.
One of them was very minor, and that's why I want to bring up two. My first Magic Con Vegas was in 2023, 2022. Yeah, I think it was in 2022.
Hmm.
I went to MagicCon Vegas and I got invited to this little like party thing, and a lot of the big creators were there, and I bumped into Josh Lee Kwai and Jimmy, and I like introduced myself. I was like, "Hi, I'm Katie Karlov," and they were like, "We know who you are," and I was like,
Holy shit.
"Oh."
Damn.
I
That's
didn't. I was like so flustered. I didn't even know what to say, and I was just like, "Thank you," and ran away. I was like so like, I yeah, it was wild. It was like one of the first moments that I was like, "Holy shit, I'm doing this." You know what
hmm
I mean? Like I, I felt so seen, but those things are fleeting. They go
right.
away, and they're you just move on. But my true favorite moment in content creation was when I go to my local commander events like command fests, and like we have one called like Laughing Dragon Expo that happens every year. They
Hmm.
usually do one or two. Um, and I always volunteer to play in games with families. So like I just basically I'm like, hey, if you have a family that signed up to play a commander game and you need a fourth person, ask me. I'm happy to do it. So I played this game. I'm playing this game with this dad and his son. And it's funny, but like I'm like it's me and one other person, and then this guy and then his son.
Okay.
And this little girl comes up to me, and she's like, I think she's 12. She comes up to me and she says, "I love your hair." And I had a box of March of the Machines that I was giving packs away at the
Hmm.
time. And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. Like, here, have a sticker and have a pack." And I handed it over to her. And the little, the family next to me was like, "Oh, that's so cool that you're doing that." And I handed them all a pack too and a
Sure.
sticker, and it was very sweet.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, that little girl comes back holding a Ragavan and is like, "Mint." And I was like, "Oh," like, it was so beautiful. And then her dad was just in the background, just like, "Yeah, like thumbs up. I just got a $90 card."
Yeah.
It was great. It
Oh,
was
that's
a wonderful
fantastic.
moment. Yeah.
I think that definitely counts as a hell yeah moment. And the other one's good too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meeting some guy or whatever, those command zone people. But yeah. I mean, now I just want to see like that 12-year-old now is like, schooling everybody she plays with, kicking ass and
Uh-huh.
like, gonna make her own channel and stuff. That'd be the next portion of it.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Is like if we give like women in the community giving other women positivity and like and not just women, everybody.
Yeah.
Like feeding positivity breeds positivity, and I
Mhm.
think that it was a beautiful moment, and I hope that she still plays Magic.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything that if you could go back to the start of your creator journey, like specifically with Magic, that you would change just to make your life a little bit easier? You know, like, oh, I would totally like do this kind of editing or whatever, or just like I wouldn't bother editing at all or something.
Yeah. Um, I wish I had done more like TikTok content when I first started.
Hmm.
Mostly because a lot of the that kind of video editing and that kind of like format is very you need to like practice it. It's kind of a muscle, and like it's easy to just whip out your phone, record yourself saying something silly about Magic, and then posting it and putting it down.
Hmm.
But like if you haven't done that and you're like I'm so far gone from doing that, it doesn't occur to me to do that. And I also really want things to be perfect. Again, this
Hmm.
comes from like the confidence thing, is like
Yeah.
I don't want it to seem silly. I don't want it to seem stupid. I don't want it to seem any certain kind of way.
Hmm.
I just want it to be like good. And I think I'm putting too much pressure on myself to do that. And I think if I had started doing TikToks earlier in streaming and stuff and just kind of like bit the bullet and be like, okay, I'm just going to make 5 TikToks a week, then it would probably be easier for me and it would come to me a little quicker than it does now.
Hmm. That's a fair
Yeah.
one. I didn't join TikTok until like probably 7 minutes before the first ban was supposed to go in. 7 months, not minutes. Uh,
That was
and
the perfect time.
yeah, and I was like, I don't know, like, and then that was TikTok is the first and only social media I have that's actually over 1,000 followers, and I went up like really fast, like within a couple months. I'm like, damn it, I should have done this like a year ago when I first
Yeah.
started the Unskilled Commander, and I could have been like way further along. But whatever, yeah, it's one
Mhm.
of those things.
I mean, the nice thing about your format of your channel too is that you can post them on TikTok as like little bite-sized one question at a time previews, you
Hmm.
know?
I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of that, but that's a really I should really do that.
Well, there you go. Free idea.
Yeah. Although I think I've tried doing that with like a really funny interaction from one of my charity stream games. Like a bunch of like counter wars. Like I counter, I force a will, blah blah, blah. And but because it's recorded like this, it's not in the it's not in the vertical. So it's like
Oh,
it's a little
yes.
smaller and it's like blocked out because it was spell
Mhm.
table and stuff. So it's like um, I don't think it's like quite as conducive. But even so, like that's not a bad idea. I should just start grabbing uh, good questions and like or just like quick questions or whatever that are funny. Thank you. I will try and do
You're
that.
welcome. I have some ideas to overcome the vertical screen too, so we can talk after.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you. So what is it about Magic the Gathering specifically as a game that drew you to it and made you want to like learn and start playing?
The art was kind of the main draw for me. I really liked the art of the cards, and I thought they looked really cool, and like the settings were always really awesome, and I just felt like I'm also like I like playing board games, and I've always wanted to play like a card game like that, and I just wasn't allowed to. My mom was like, "You're not buying cards. Like, I'm not going to buy them for you. They're too
Hmm.
expensive. They get everywhere, blah, blah, blah."
Sure.
And so, as an adult with adult money, I was like, you know what? Always wanted to try a card game. Let's try Magic the Gathering. It was the one that my boyfriend, now my husband at the time, wanted to try too. So we both were like, went to our little local, well, I wasn't that local, but we went to this place in LA, bought fat packs of Theros, and
Hmm.
then went home and built decks with them. And that was it. We were just like, this is so fun. And all of our friends started playing with us too. And yeah, the art and the gameplay, it was like just complicated enough that I like I said it earlier, but it felt like a puzzle.
Hmm.
Um, and that was just fun for me. So that's why we kept playing.
Nice. So without going too personal or anything, but do you and your husband still play? And also, are you like getting the kids into it, or is it like are they still too young for that? But
Yeah, my husband and I still play pretty regularly. Every time a set comes out, we'll do a little pre-release.
nice.
And then for it's also our Valentine's Day tradition is we'll buy a box for each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, yeah, and then we'll like light candles, take a cute photo, and then blow the candles out and turn the lights on.
You're right.
We can actually read the cards.
No opening by candlelight and burning the cards, right?
Just like I can't quite read the glare. Um, yeah, so we do that, and then yeah, we build decks. We do like deck exchanges for Christmas. And yeah, and we are getting our son to play. He's 7. But he's reading at a 3rd grade level, which to me is magic reading level.
Hmm.
Um, so so he's able to read all the cards and kind of understand the game action. So we made him a Sonic the Hedgehog deck because it's easy.
Nice.
Like haste gets bigger, haste gets bigger. Like
Right.
the deck just does it what it's supposed to do 90% of the time.
That is awesome.
So he's been playing that against me and John, who's my husband, and he's been wiping our asses. He's been like literally like smoking us with that deck.
All right, you better break out some of the good ones or something to keep him in his place.
Right? But it feels bad to like, but I don't know. I've never been the kind of mom that is gonna let my kid win all the time.
Right.
Like in Mario Kart, like I'm not allowed to play Mario Kart anymore because I don't let my son win. And he's like,
nice.
I don't want to play with her. She always beats me. And I was like, yeah, you have to get good.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach you to be better.
All right, that's the 5th win with Sonic. Time for you to meet Braids. No.
Yeah, literally. Talk scroll.
So if Magic the Gathering went away tomorrow, like it had existed and everything, but somehow all the cards are just gone, poof, can't recreate it, would you continue to create content of some kind, or would you move on and just be like, you know what, I was a content creator for a while, good run, time for something else?
Yeah, I would. I do like making content. That's why I keep trying it over and over again. I was doing before I did video games, I was a cosplayer and I did that for a little while when I was like 19, and then I did video game stuff after I got married when I was like 22. And now I'm 34 making magic content. So, life really hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
So yeah, I think I actually do have I'm just starting it. I haven't decided if I'm going to continue doing it, but I read a lot. So I've been doing like some book content, like easy stuff that's like, here's what I read last month, and here's the kind of books I like to read and that kind of stuff. Just little, not book reviews, but like just kind of talking about what kind of books I'm reading and what kind of stuff I like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been pretty fun to engage with, because it also, I think with books too, it like opens you up to other books that you would want to read.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of shows you what everybody else is kind of reading and finding more of what you might like, which when I was a teenager reading, it was really hard to find new stuff. Like I just feel like couldn't you're like, I like this one author, I'm gonna read everything that they wrote ever.
Yes.
And then that's it,
Yeah.
so it's just so different now.
Well, that's a really good segue because I saw that looking over some of your feeds, and so so you are a reader. So how many books do you try and read in a year? Do you have goals every year, or do you just kind of let it fly by the seat of your pants?
Not I don't have goals every year. I try to read around 20 books a year, which is like 2
Mm-hmm.
books a month ish. If I don't like hurt myself over it or anything. I'm just kind of like, I'm also like a little bit of a mood reader, so it's like I have to be reading a book that like my brain is like getting the good juice from. I
Absolutely.
can't just like be like, "Oh, everyone told me I have to read this, so I'm going to read it." I don't
Right.
engage with things that way. Um so so yeah, I this year my goal was to read 25 books this year, and this year I've read 37. So
Wow.
I'm
That's awesome.
a lot higher than I thought. I read about 3 books a month this year.
Nice.
Just over 3 books a month. And it's been great because I've been doing like book clubs with my sisters, and then I'm in another book club with my neighborhood. And so it's kind of helped me like get out of my comfort zone with books a little bit and find some other things that I like.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I just think it's also good for your brain to read. Like you don't realize how much you learn about language while you're reading. Like you're searching, what does that word mean? Oh, that's an interesting way to put the sentence, or things like that. That
Hmm.
I think are good exercises for your brain to kind of keep your brain healthy. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when like teens into my 20s, like late 20s, I made a point to read like everything that counted as a classic, like classic literature. So I like,
Yeah.
whether like most of them I enjoyed enough, some of them I had to force myself to get through, but like I mean we're talking like Moby Dick and Pride and Prejudice or whatever, like anything that counted as classics, along with like modern day stuff like Stephen King and stuff like that. But yeah, I've definitely fallen off in recent years, but I do have a book waiting to read over Christmas. So um
Yeah. Yeah, I should have mentioned too, but I have a degree in literature. So I
oh, awesome.
have read all of those just by nature of having that
Right,
degree.
sure.
uh,
You didn't have a choice.
so I it took a long time, like going to school, and like they make you read a lot of the classics in school, and then I had time for like what I wanted to read, but it was like Harry Potter and Tamora Pierce and um Brian Jacques and like those kinds of things. Like lots of fantasy. Like I read The Lord of the Rings in high school, and
Hmm.
um it was that was what was happening on the side. And then as I kind of got older, I was like, oh, I really like these kinds of books. Like, why haven't I heard of these? And so
Hmm.
kind of moving that direction opened me up to a lot of different things. So yeah.
So, side note, since you said you like fantasy, have you read Legends and Lattes?
No. I've heard of it though.
It's good. It's not like a
Um
deep, hard read. It's like it's a very, I mean, it's
sure.
not like a kiddie book necessarily. I don't think it. I mean, I don't think it might be a young adult, maybe, but I don't. It's
Uh-huh.
relatively short, but it's
It's kind
just
of
good. It's fun.
like a fantasy comedy kind of situation.
Well, it's set in a fantasy world, and like the lead character is like I think she's an ogre, but she's like an
Uh-huh.
adventurer, but she retires to open a coffee shop because she finds
Yeah.
coffee on her travels and loves it so much and wants to bring it to a new city. And then it's like, she has to use some of her skills because like shit goes sideways a little bit, and she makes a bunch of new
Uh-huh.
friends. But it's pretty, it's good, it's sweet, and it's like it's just a fun read.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. I think my next I'm reading the second book in the Mistborn series right now,
Oh,
The Well
okay.
of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson.
Hmm.
And I finished the Stormlight Archive this year. That was my Moby Dick of the year, was to read those 5 books.
Nice.
So, yeah.
What is it about the medium of books in your eyes that can set it apart from like movies and TV?
Um, I feel like in books I have a very active imagination, and so when I'm reading a book, I'm like the kind of person that like visualizes
Hmm.
books and what's happening. And so I do feel like sometimes I'll watch a movie of a book that I liked, and I'm like, oh, that's not really how I imagined it, and it kind of bums me out, bums
Yeah.
me out a little bit. But yeah, I think that like books take more investment. They take longer, like way longer. And I think they do a lot of interesting like character study. At least good books do that.
Right.
um and I like escaping. I think I play a lot of video games. I play obviously other kinds of games, but I also am raising a 7-year-old, and I don't want to just rot on the couch playing video games for 4 hours
Sure.
when it's healthier for me and it's healthier for him growing up seeing me reading books.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
it becomes like it's like you set the example for how you want your kid to behave, and it's the same thing with reading. If you want your kid to be a reader and like reading, you should read in front of them
Hmm.
until they're engaged and want to read with you. Or one of my son's favorite things to do is read a book. So like
Nice.
I take that like as, oh, I've succeeded. Like he likes reading, he's good at reading, and he like I'll sit down with my book outside on the bench when it's not 20 degrees outside,
Right. Yeah.
and he'll come and sit with me, and he'll go run upstairs and grab his book, and then he'll sit with me on the porch and read his book out loud. But we take our wins.
Yeah. Right. Right. Sure.
So yeah, I think that that's probably why. I like kind of the escapism of it, and I think it's also a healthy habit.
Agreed. So, in terms of reading, how do you view comic books, and also do you feel that they are a good tool to get kids to read as a gateway into reading actual books? You get them excited about the
Well,
comics, and you can transition that. Or like, do you agree with that, or do you feel that's like that doesn't work?
oh no, I super agree with that. I think that I also like this argument comes up a lot when you talk about audiobooks, which I do a lot of audiobooks as well because I drive to work every day. Um, People argue that audiobooks is not actually reading a book, but I argue that if you're consuming content and it is a book and somebody's telling words to you, that is consuming that content.
Hmm.
Um, I I think that my son actually one of his favorite series to read is the Dogman series by Dave Pilkey.
Hmm.
People have their qualms with Dave Pilkey because he, in earlier books, would spell things wrong to make it seem like a little kid was writing it.
Mm.
And the grammar wasn't always great. And so people would argue that, like, oh, you shouldn't read your kids Dave Pilkey books because it teaches them bad grammar, it teaches them bad spelling,
Sure.
which I do agree with in a sense. But Dogman kind of fixed that. Dogman is like a little bit more elevated in terms of those things, and it has a lot of really good themes in it. And it's a comic book. So it's easy for my son to kind of follow along with who's talking. Um, and it doesn't use any crazy words, and the words that are really crazy they're more silly, and so he's like
Mm.
learning them
Hmm.
in that way. And then yeah, I mean he's been reading another one that's like it's like a Marvel comic book or a Pokemon comic book. I can't remember what it is, but and it's for older kids. It's like for 9 and 10 year olds, and he's been reading that, and like as long as he's engaged, he's looking at the photos. It's also getting him to draw, so he's like drawing.
Very cool.
He's recreating slides from the things, which is I think is great. So I mean, yeah, if that's the way that you can get your kid into reading, or even like a partner, like if you have a partner that's like, I don't like reading books, and
Hmm.
like, okay, well, what about reading comics? Like, start there. I feel
Yeah.
like that's an easy way to kind of bridge that gap.
Hmm.
And it also helps with their imagination as well because they're giving you the picture to imagine so that you can grow that skill of like, oh, like I can just imagine it myself this time. I don't
Hmm.
need the picture.
Agreed. Um, do you have any kind of dream locations that you'd like to visit?
Ooh, well, it was Japan, and
Hmm.
then I went this year. That was
Awesome.
wonderful. Loved it. I want to live there. Like after being in Japan
Yeah.
for 10 days, I'm like, can I stay? I think about it. Um I think probably next on my list is I would like to do a Europe trip.
Hmm.
I'd like to do like all of kind of Western Europe. Like I would like to hit, France, I would like to hit Italy, I would like to hit um England, Scotland, Ireland, kind of, everything over there.
Hmm.
And then I also would like to go to like the Eastern Europe as well. Like it would be fun to like go to Germany and like I mean the architecture in like Copenhagen
Mm.
and
Hmm.
I remember there was another place that my friend recently went that was really, really pretty. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it was right now, but
Hmm.
um some of that stuff, like I don't believe in God, but some of those churches are insane. like
Fair. I
like
agreed.
marvels of human ingenuity, and I just would love to see them in person.
Definitely. Um, so to bring it back to content creation and Magic the Gathering, absolute pie in the sky, no holds barred with like, money's not an issue, time's not an issue, all that kind of resources, training. What would you love to see Katie Karlov's brand, your content become someday?
My gosh, that's such a good question. Um, I mean, if money wasn't an issue, I would probably do everything I can to grow Birds of Paradise into like a real like an LLC and like work as a major like charity group um that can host events and
Mhm.
like do all of those things for people and kind of instead of like creating a space in an event, having the whole event be the space would be awesome. And hosting events like that would be really cool. And then like being able to host tournaments in that event for people and for, kind of to do what Watsy's doing with like the grant program and like being able to bring people to the event and pay for it themselves and pay for it
Right.
ourselves. Like that would be so cool.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think that would be like, I guess that's not Katie Karlov content, but it's something that I feel passionately about that I would want to put any money I had behind it,
Hmm.
that I could. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you could make it, part of Katie Karlov. I mean, it would just be, the I don't know. I'd need time to actually come up with a better name, but like basically, it's a scholarship. It's the Katie Karlov Scholarship. You get to go, and be at these places. I think that would be huge, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are pretty much all the questions I have for you, and we do have a
Cool.
bit of a hard stop, so it's working out perfectly. Um, I just want to say thank you. First of all, thank you for spending your time with me, answering the questions. I had a good time. I enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. Um, Thanks to everybody that hung out and chat. Um, I will. I got it set up that we can raid over into Benji the Brewer. I know he's doing some solo stuff over there right now. But before we go, is there anything that you would like to plug, or any upcoming events or anything that you'd like to talk about?
Gosh, I'm gonna be at MagicCon Vegas in May. I'm working out my travel plans now. Um, but yeah, otherwise I don't really have much going on. I'm gonna take a nice. I have winter break. I finally did it
Hmm.
in corporate America. I took the 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's off
Nice. It's always a good
instead of
feeling.
being half-assed for 3 days. So I am gonna be off work for 2 weeks, which feels incredible. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna spend those 2 weeks with my son, and I'm very excited to hang out with him and do all kinds of fun shenanigans. So yeah, but otherwise, hopefully we start hearing more Lorewyn stuff soon, and hopefully I can make some Lorewyn content